Well, I guess
Well,
now
well.
we're back for another live session.
Yes, we are. This is 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. We're gonna become a lot more active with these channels here.
We're getting closer and closer to 100.
It's
Closer and closer
still
to 100. Yeah, we're one more closer.
just one more
We're
closer.
now at two.
Yeah, we're now at two. We're gonna get there,
We just
Mr.
doubled the
Lamb.
percentage from last time. So, how you guys doing?
I
Good.
mean, good man. We're gonna
You know what's funny is for some reason you sound low in my headphones, but when you go back and hear, um,
You guys are the same, like with everything else that's going on with me talking, hearing my headphones much louder than you guys.
right.
oh, okay, okay,
So I think that's just we have to work with it.
okay, yeah, but it sounds good when you go back to listen on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
okay,
we can through this work on a few different things. I could find ways to boost my levels here without going too much louder. We can turn that up. That should boost it a little towards you guys. There we go. Anyway, enough troubleshooting.
I'll take what I can get. There's never gonna be an end to troubleshooting. I mean, this is
no,
what the people want. Their
yeah.
unity.
I think anytime you go live too, like, isn't that the best part of it when things just go awry? You're just like, huh, didn't
Yeah,
see
as
that
long as
one
you can
coming.
figure it out and you don't end the podcast and going, "What the hell?" I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You realize how many things are out of your control
Hmm.
when you're forced to be in a live situation. But
Yeah,
I don't think it's any different if you start a conversation with a stranger on the street. You know,
yeah. You don't
anything
know what kind of conversation it'll
you
be.
don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what the environment's gonna do. You know, it could
Hmm.
be a car wreck right in front of you. You're like that in itself is
Conversation starter.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that car just flip over? He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna have to hang out
man.
and file a report with the police. I guess we're witnesses.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think at that point when you start saying things like that, it's like, no, I didn't see anything. Actually, I have to go, man. So
Yeah,
yeah, take care. It was great meeting you.
I
you're
was
like, no, no,
watching.
no. Where are you from? Come
No,
and see
no,
the
no, no,
wild.
no. I have to go. I got warrants, dude. I gotta.
Oh, you got warrants? Yeah, you better go. I don't want to be around you.
Yeah, yeah, that's a total different story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah.
I mean, but hey, you're live, so that those are the things you run into.
Yeah, you run into warrants.
Yeah.
I was okay, to be off topic here. I was watching something and it got me to think real deep and evolve about this subject. And I know you guys would give me great answers on this. Um and this is a huge hypothetical.
Hmm.
So I've never really heard anybody come up with this hypothetical question. So bear with me. You two know my mind, especially, will really go there. Um, let's just say years ago, and I'm willing to say even before Earth, okay, there
Before,
was a organic species similar to us, but not too similar to what we are now as bipedal. Okay. And let's say this organic entity had issues with not being able to live longer without its corporeal form. Okay. And their whole civilization was forced with trying to figure out how do they last beyond their flesh. And the civilization came together and they figured out how to last beyond the flesh, which after they die, they can still move on
hmm,
and experience life.
experience life
Experience
where
life in many different aspects, maybe even many different
still
dimensions.
here on okay in dimensions. You're not here on Earth anymore. You're
You're not here on Earth anymore, or Earth hasn't happened yet. and all of a sudden these special entities can now move about the our plane of existence. Okay.
Hmm.
And they've gotten to the point where they can live beyond their flesh and experience um, different aspects of life. Cue us, cue the earth. Okay.
Hmm.
Who's to say our consciousness isn't derived from a catastrophic problem that plagued them in the past? And they figured out how to get the true them to last eternally. But not only that, other issues keep arising, you know,
Like,
like maybe, okay, we figured out such and such dimension. Now, maybe we need to invent something greater than us. Because when you think about it, everything comes from the cosmos and everything comes from the universe. So
right,
now
like a
maybe we
universal
have to,
consciousness.
right, maybe we have to invent something greater than us. And yeah, it might not have a so called soul or a consciousness. But if we're all from this and we give it life, then it too will develop a consciousness. But not only develop a consciousness, but have a physical ability to stay within certain dimensions permanently. It doesn't have to shed off or die off. And what if we're looking at AI being that of us? We had an issue with something, and now it's going to evolve into this.
Mm.
I mean, so what's your question?
It's not really a question
Just
per
a
se,
random thought.
Just a random
but it's
thought?
a deep dive into what we could be as a consciousness.
I don't think. Well,
We could be forever shifting and evolving just as that alone. Maybe the very consciousness is the alien that's seeking out different means of being able to sustain itself in a tangible form.
I see what you mean. It's an entity out there, or a cosmic conscious being, if you will, that floats among or between dimensions, and it's trying to find a way to last longer in this
Right.
dimension,
And and
kind of the
maybe
3D third
the issue,
dimension kind of.
right, and maybe the issue was it
And why
didn't.
would it want to?
Why would we want to better ourselves?
Well, yeah. Do you, so you feel there's a consciousness that wants to get out there, become part of this to work at bettering the other people that populate the earth? I don't know if I'm following.
I mean, yeah, in a way.
Because wouldn't we all be the same thing? Consciousness came down
Exactly.
to.
Exactly. But what form we took and the laws that we behave to now have kind of shattered our consciousness. Like we're no longer a collective. We're now an individual thing, whereas the collective thought it was in danger. We need to find ways to be suitable and last as long as we want. Okay, the answer was now we have a human form, but what happens when our human form can't sustain our energy? What do
Right.
we do? What do we do next?
Yeah. Well,
We go back to consciousness.
yeah,
That's
that's what
that's
I'm
where I want
thinking.
to
Yeah. I
go.
think we do that now anyways. Like you see people trying to use a lot of collagen to put on their face and, you know, we watch them try to monitor the way we eat and people are always trying to find ways to live longer. Like we
Yeah,
do that
yeah. Look at
now as
health
a
and science with a lot of the based off of nutrition and new even medicines and everything. We as a race are living longer.
yep,
You know,
yep.
as we go. I can't imagine grandkids living past 100 no problem.
Yeah, see that's
So,
wild.
but I on the subject of us here maybe trying to generate or create something greater than us to for us to evolve into. I don't like. I do believe we all are trying to be here and gather together to become another. universal consciousness back to one source, right?
Right.
And the more people on this planet that can work towards that to raise their consciousness, and awareness of what's going on, and not such drawing through scrolling and being fed information and going back to the conscious thinking and, you know, ignoring all the outside influences. I think we're all trying to gather back into that universal consciousness, but I don't think we're going to use computers as a way to do it. I think computers, as we are now, we're just using it as the next technology that makes life simpler, where we have to do less. It's just leading us down the whole Wally road. you know?
Right.
So I feel we have to pull away from that if we wish to elevate into a different dimension.
Yeah, well, it seems like we're already designed to do that.
And
We're it
yeah, and a
seems like
lot of
yeah,
there is the thought that people are that AI is that trying to feed us, and it will eventually become stronger than us or whatever, but it is being created and used as a um, I don't know, like a monitoring tool of other beings or something. There's been many ways that people have
yeah.
thought about AI and what
I,
it's
I
doing.
I really feel AI is just going to be ultimately humanity's like last diary. You know, if someone can figure out our technology, they would look at it and go, "Okay, this is what this species was about." Right? Because our AI
Mhm.
is only pertaining to us and our thoughts and the way we live on Earth. This no way constitutes how other civilizations or entities live in their perspective parts of their galaxies or within our galaxy or in the universe, right? They could have a
Right.
whole different concept and a whole different way of life. If someone were to come, let's just say we didn't make it and we all transcended like how I think we're supposed to. That's how humans are born and that's how we come about. This is how we live.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever live like truly forever. Like physical matter can't just go on forever, forever. Like at some point, you're
Everything
gonna have to
decomposes
transcend.
and
Yeah, you're gonna have
breaks
to
down. Yeah.
transcend, right? But I think what he's trying, I think I don't know. I just think that AI would just be our diary. It would just be that time capsule that if you were able to figure it out
Sure.
and you could open it up and look at it, AI would not be able to like I'm now I can control this civilization.
Well,
And
yeah. Well, go
that's
ahead.
what I was trying to say in the
Yeah.
beginning. Like before us, we in my mind, I believe there was another entity that had an issue with
They had a global catastrophe that wiped them out and were rebuilding, or
right in a way just like that. But how do we live longer? Oh, we have to develop a conscious state that takes us beyond the flesh. Almost like
yes.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
That's how
so
you're going to get beyond this dimension.
like
This
like
physical
maybe
body is going to hold
consciousness
us into
wasn't
this
a
dimension.
second part of us, is what I'm trying to say. Like maybe the other entities had to develop consciousness to be able to detach from the flesh.
I think I see what you're saying.
You
Like
see what
it
I'm
wasn't
saying?
something.
Like now we're AI. Now we went sentient, or now we have donor. This is like these bodies are donorship.
Very matrix like, yeah.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, I would just say that you think it's the
And we're just
Matrix,
feeding the algorithm kind of thing
right?
to generate a higher state. Well, how about this thought about AI as far as the direction that this could go? If we are trying to at least take that next step to leave the planet and explore and try and inhabit or venture out further, our bodies and lives can only last so long. Cryogenics can only do so much, right?
Right.
If you can create AI androidal people that can pilot these ships that last forever and just carry our seed and eggs, you know, that are preserved, they will last the trip, be able to make decisions and work as humans kind of would. And then they'd be able to get to someplace and know what to do to start up a colony. They won't need oxygen. So they could start building infrastructures. They could do these kind of things. And then once it's done, they can, you know, intra vitro, or test tube people and start creating humanoids on or humans on other planets. That's a possibility.
So I remember
Somewhere to
talking to
take that artificial intelligence and advance humankind beyond this planet.
right, and I remember talking to Deepa, which is Brian's wife, my our oracle, and we were having a similar discussion. Like, isn't that the whole principle and philosophy around the gray aliens? Right? They're these emotionalist
This, yeah,
entities of like an AI type setting that does the beckoning for like their master. They go out to these different worlds. They're able to, they don't necessarily have to eat, they don't breathe, they're just robots, right? They can just go out and accumulate data and do field research.
yeah. They have no emotion or no concept of that,
Right. And I think
and
our
really no like consciousness. Basically, they've lost
right,
their consciousness, and that's why they abduct people and kidnap. They don't understand that it scares them.
right,
So,
right.
but you've completely. It sounds like you both completely abandoned the thought of there's no way to take our consciousness from this flesh and transfer it into an
Something
AI.
else.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You're
It's
calling consciousness something tangible, then.
well, I'm calling it alien in itself.
Oh, so it is an entity. It's something that
It's something
lives inside you.
yes.
well, I mean, if that's the
Mhm.
case, then it kind of proves it goes back in circles. Y- It would just be your, like Brian said, it'll just be one of your wild thoughts.
Be like a little symbiote that lives in you.
Yeah.
It's venom.
Um, there's just no way of knowing. But what we do know is that, well, what I know for a fact is that consciousness lives without the host. Now, where it comes from, I perceived a sneak peek of it, but not even I know where it truly comes from. Right? It it just we exist without the body, and
Mhm.
that's about as far as I can. Everything else would just be like, yeah, I mean, y- your guess is good as mine, type of thing. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
I mean, yeah,
endless.
but this is all hypothetical
Right, right,
regardless.
right. But it's just like it'd be one of those things where it just be like, man, at this point, you could pose anything and it'll be possible. It's just how far you want to take it.
Right. Because like neutrinos crash through us all the time, every day and day
Yeah, we can't even see
on
it.
this planet. We can't see it, we can't feel it. So when a woman is in conception, right? Who's to say this information or neutrinos don't have to do with something like consciousness is coming from somewhere else,
Mhm.
and it's slamming in and it's a creation in itself.
Well,
Like,
you got those that say that they passed away and they were on the other side and they know exactly who they were spiritually. And they knew that they were coming into a body from this other plane and feeling that host. So,
what if consciousness is otherworldly in itself? I always felt like humans don't belong here in some weird way. And there's those that say, "Oh, we were brought here by ships, and we were here to mine gold for deities," and but it's something's very strange as to why we're here and how we're here. Something just doesn't add up. And if you go
Mhm.
with your gut feeling, for me, there's something that we're not being told.
and you're assuming somebody has the answers in the
And
physical plane.
it sure feels like a creation to me.
Yeah.
It literally feels like a creation to me.
I think that's the beauty of the conversation is you can just have these and you could just
It's
go
like
in on them.
SimCity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And but until you actually kick the old bucket, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's the only way you'll find out. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's always an interesting thought, especially when you put AI into the equation. Like AI wasn't really a big thing eight, 10 years, 8, 9, 10 years ago. It
Well, to
wasn't
the
Yeah.
to the public.
to the public. Like we weren't. No one was
Right.
readily talking about AI this, AI that until somebody posed the notion that AI could corrupt and kill us. It's like
Yeah.
Terminator, or AI can take over everything, and AI this, and are we living in a simulation? This kind of talk was
There was
not
always
around
movie
10,
stuff,
15 years ago.
HAL, and all that kind of stuff. And, science fiction talked about it first, and you look at
Hmm.
a lot of technology, science fiction talked about it before it became reality.
Right.
So they talked about artificial intelligence and robots taking over, things like that. And so that's where I believe people are generating the fear. Like, look, they've talked about this before. This can happen. They're going to take over the world. Mm, I don't know.
You remember the first time I remember hearing about AI or androids, three movies come to mind.
Hmm.
One I can't remember the name to, but it was like a little boy in this like fighter jet or something rather, and it was like the computer was always telling them, "Do you want to play a game?" You remember? And
Oh
it
yeah.
was like this. It was this whole
There's War
sen-
Games with Matthew
War
Broderick.
games.
war
Yeah.
War
games.
games.
Okay,
Yeah.
so war games, aliens,
Okay.
because the androids were walking around and they had all of
Hmm.
these, and
They were
Star
fully
Wars.
functional.
And
Yeah.
Star Wars. Star Wars really was like, oh my God, like, are we looking at AI right now? You
Well, yeah,
know?
because like look at C-3PO. He was
Hmm.
quite an advanced robot that could communicate and talk with you and tried to express feelings and understanding.
You know
That's
what
AI.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen that. No one has really thought out clearly. Is like, okay, Star Wars was like supposed this far distant future,
Hmm.
and you're still pushing buttons on the ship. But has anybody ever thought it like an integrated ship tied and tethered to your consciousness? Like you don't even have to push buttons. Like your ship communicates with you on just expression and thought.
I think that's how they're piloted. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's how it is. I
Like
don't think
now,
there's physical controls. That's a human uh, requirement, a limitation. We have two hands. We think only with two hands, with feet. What can we do with our limbs and our fingers? We're not, you know, look at the Neuralink. We're making steps towards that kind of stuff. But I believe the ships are more, along the lines. And talking with Deepa, she confirms a lot of this stuff. Your consciousness connected to it. You don't even have to think it's a part of the being, and you connect with it, and you just have to move and fly and transport. I don't even consider it flying. They've figured out the whole time and space thing.
right,
Right.
We haven't.
right, and you give any civilization X amount of years, hell, 2, 3,000 years beyond us. It's like, what
So
does
they'll
that look
blow
like?
themselves up,
Yeah,
Well,
what I
yeah,
mean?
if that's even possible.
Yeah.
Like
right?
to me, I can't see us going past another 100
No,
years.
not per se, yes, but not per se, yes, but can you think about a civilization? Let's just say
Who got it figured out?
that they're parallel to us, but they're like 3,000 years more advanced. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what does
Hmm.
getting to the moon look like at that point? 3,000 years down the road, if we're still, if we figured it out, like how to not generate war and poverty and greed. Like, what is that? What does our technology look like 3,000 years from now? Some people even say what we're seeing now is just a reflection of us, like time travel.
Hmm.
Like we've done that, and now we're back.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the possibilities, again, those come down to be endless too. But however, I do believe that the overall government, there's somebody out there right now that knows a whole lot more than we do. And we were
Hmm.
talking the other day is, I think sometimes the bigger part of me just does not want to know.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my
You
question.
just stay blissfully ignorant for
Yeah.
Mm,
this
Yeah, if somebody,
lifetime.
yeah, dude, if somebody presented it to me and said, "Hey, like, here's the red envelope. You want to know? It's
Hmm.
right here. But if you want to know, there's no going back, you
Yeah.
know?"
Once you know, you can't unknow it. It's
Right.
right.
I don't know if I'm ready to know. I mean, I've seen some things in the sky.
I would love to know.
What they could have been is pure speculation. I know it wasn't anything I've ever seen before. My wife has videotaped things, and her daughter were like, "What the hell is this?" You know?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to know if it's from another planet.
Well, I'm gonna change gears on that. It's the same topic, but let me change gears on that, revolving around music. All right. Is it the help me out, be Steven Spielberg? The, was it the
Close
encounter?
Encounters.
Close Encounters. Okay. Toward the end, right?
Hmm.
It was all music. And this was like the greater importance of it. They use
It's how
certain
they chose to communicate. Yeah.
right. That's how
Right.
they chose to communicate was with certain notes of music,
Hmm.
and they're supposed to be this like super advanced race, and that you know, watching that told me that music is so important, not just to the earthly standards, but this is like it has to be a universal language. You know what I mean? Like this
Sure.
sound has to be something that everything understands. Whales do it, and they've been doing it a lot longer than we have.
Hmm.
How you feel about that?
I feel it's definitely a more universal, like it is. It's a language because it's based off of frequencies, not shaping them into words. It's communication through vibration, right?
Right.
So within our limitation of our ear, what frequencies we can hear and experience, within our human bodies, that's how in the movie, that's how they chose to communicate so we could relate and, find a common way to talk. But I believe that's, part of the consciousness, part of the communication. That's why, you don't hear people talking about aliens talking with their mouths and stuff. They just feel like they're being downloaded with information from the aliens, or like they're talking to them in their mind. It's just it's that universal consciousness. They get it. They are part of it. They don't need to speak. They just transmit.
Yeah. And I
And
guess
how complicated must their language be? I think
I don't think it's complicated at all because language is the barrier. If you don't use words and you're communicating through your needs and everything, and it's a different level. You got to go outside of that restriction of words and language.
but coming from light years away, and you know you're more advanced than what you're observing, you have to think like, what is the most neutral way we can communicate with another species and they get it?
well, I think they would definitely study us first to figure out what our communication even looks like. But
And they
they
have been. They've been
yeah.
studying this for thousands of
Well,
years.
and we put it out in the cosmic ether, right? Like like what do they say? They're listening to Lucille Ball reruns. You know, like
Out that far, yeah. But I mean, I think they're constantly. That's what these UAPs are. They're out there monitoring, checking things out. They're getting power from our volcanoes. We get a lot of action here in Hawaii.
yeah,
Real, oh yeah, no, I remember seeing some video footage of not too long ago
Hmm.
of people looking at something off the shore and were totally like, "What the hell is this?" I think I even text you about it.
Yeah, they have stuff they'll catch on like the webcams up on the telescope up on Mauna Kea and stuff. On night skies, you'll catch a lot of stuff like satellites and a variety of things, but they'll catch a few UAPs, unexplained stuff. And they even have
Yeah,
tours and stuff you can go watch. It's fun.
if we're able to send drones to Mars and pretty much the planets that are close to us,
Yeah, but did we?
ooh, I don't want to go down that
We're not
rabbit
going down that
hole.
road.
Well, not yet, at least. You know, I'm willing to go there,
That's for
but
another place,
someone
time
I
and
don't know.
place.
You can trust someone's word to the extent of their word, but if you weren't there, it'll always just be that
It's
person's
hearsay.
word.
Yeah.
It's hearsay.
Mm.
I mean, at this point, everything that we hear and see on the news and what they tell us is just hearsay. They can
Yeah.
obviously put up any picture they can fabricate or whatever and show you. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, do you really, can you really trust it?
Right.
And like he said, that's one thing that Trump made clear and put into people's minds now is that fake media. You just throw that out there.
Fake
Not only
news.
does
Mm.
it doesn't stop at fake media, but it stops at you can kind of throw that at everything now.
everything.
You know what?
Well,
How much
that's
of
a
it
big
are you really
downside also to AI, right? Because you don't know what's been AI
y-
generated in photos
exactly
anymore. You don't
exactly?
what's clickbait, what's just sensationalism, that's all people want to see. So you keep feeding the algorithm that you want to see that stuff. It's just going to keep showing you that stuff.
Yeah.
Or I think we keep digging a hole for
Mm.
ourselves too. Like
Yeah.
we know what's right and wrong, and we know what the end result is as people. I
Right.
give people more credit than most people. We choose to go along with many things. Like AI doesn't have to replace everyone's job,
No.
but my belief is people will go along with it and not fight back because it's what we've done for many years and we're currently doing it now.
Hmm.
We know the issues.
Right.
We know the
Right.
issues in our own communities, and we don't take to the street and say enough is enough. We have the power. You know, for some reason, it's almost like we do have this warship be controlled gene that overrides everything within us, and it makes us behave to this system.
Mhm.
And that's a scary thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what's scary
Mhm.
though, because you could talk to other people and they know that it's that they're going with this program, but they're so trained not to do anything about it, just talk about it, and then just like, okay, now that I talked about it and I know I'm being essentially fucked over, I'm just going to go back to work tomorrow and continue to make this guy richer.
Right.
Right.
It's
Back
like
to the guy.
at what point as a collective do we say, enough is enough? You're only rich and fat in the pocket because we put it there. If we
Hmm.
stop doing what we're doing, all that ceases to fail, and then you, sir, have to go find your own goddamn food.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
that issue becomes another problem. If we stop doing what we're doing, then everything goes into disarray.
Sometimes you need a
Then the whole
A
structure of
total reset
sometimes you
law
need
and order goes
well,
with it.
sometimes you need destruction to start
for
over.
sure.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah. Sometimes you need a complete reset,
a complete reset.
a factory reset.
Yep, a
Okay.
factory reset. If you were to give me the red button, I'm telling you
Yeah,
right now, I'm pushing that shit.
Oh
Whether
man.
everybody
Don't
out
give
there
me the
likes it or
button.
not, I'm pushing that shit.
yeah. I mean, okay, so would you press the red button B if it was in front of you? The red
Red
button
button.
meaning to reset
The
this.
reset button.
What would it do?
It would,
Reset everything.
I guess,
As
Wipe
in,
I
out
do we
guess.
debt,
wipe
wipe
out
out credit.
technology and we're back to, printing press maybe?
No,
How about
Or
this?
no.
How
How
about
about
this?
this?
It just ground zeros everything out, and everybody's on the equal and level playing field
like economically.
economically, and there's no more politics. There's no more one person's leading. Like we have to figure out and devise a whole different system.
A whole new energy scheme.
Well, yeah, we have to have policies in place, for a country to operate, or even a world to operate. You need to have policies. It's the politicians that make it a circus. So if you could get people that can formulate and all agree on policies and just
I
pass
beg to
them and make
differ,
them
bro.
and then
I
move on,
beg to differ.
that would.
I beg
Mm,
to differ. It's
Well,
not the it's the human freaking
element.
element.
that's what I mean. The politicians. It's not the policies. It's not the
Right. But
politics.
but those
It's
but
the
those
politicians.
politicians are you and I though, sir. Like we cannot disassociate with our own like collectiveness. Like and I get what you're saying,
Hmm.
you know, but at the end of the day, the human element is in all of us. Before we even get back to that like the whole politics and shit, we have to figure out a way to become right with each other first so we can even evolve to get back into
Because
politics,
essentially we're putting those people in office.
right? If it's
We're doing it to ourselves.
there's a
Well,
reason why people like you and I and others that we frequent are not in office or are not the 1% million and billionaires, right? Because if that was the case, you know what you and the three of us would do. There'd be no hungry mouth. Everyone would be, at least a roof over their head. The money would be dispersed a lot more generously than what it is now, and the greed would not be there. So
that
and
is easy to say when you don't have it.
you don't miss what you don't
That's
have,
true.
but you can always look at hindsight and see the unequality of it. You can see the
Sure,
unfairness of it, and you can see that from both sides. You know when you're a greedy son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
I agree. Greed is, yeah, greed is just a big, big problem, and it comes rich or poor. Some people are just greedy with the very little amount they have. Their greed is not an amount; it's a willingness to share, not what you have.
Right. Right.
So, and of course, those with more tend to not seemingly share as much. But I've never been that rich. I've never been in corporations. I've never had trust fund stuff. I've never experienced that and what comes with that. So I couldn't really talk true on it just from what we see
Mm-hmm.
and what people complain about. These guys have all the money, they don't share any of it. And it goes on and on. We just keep feeding them, and it is a vicious cycle. And I do agree that a more fair balance would be nice, but I don't think of equal distribution would be nice because if you even think of it from your end, just you work your butt off to make money to feed your family, but now you're also feeding everyone else.
No, let me
And which
clarify.
is, yes, I mean, a very nice way to go about wanting to live life. But if you're working hard, and that means everyone's going to be the
I'm
same. Not everyone's going to be rich.
I'm talking about like I need to clarify that. I'm
Okay.
talking like big bank, big pharma, the petrodollar. Oh,
Yeah.
like I'm talking like these mass conglomerates that are just literally,
Sure.
you know what I mean? I'm not talking about
Swimming
the
in
the
money.
person that went out there and made his millions the hard way. And
Sure.
I'm talking
But
about the
some of those people are up in that 1%.
yeah,
Yes, they are.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true, but
yeah. But I mean,
not the ones running it.
but
No.
but but to Lamar's point, B,
Uh-huh.
if if you somehow came across 30 million on your lap,
Hmm.
like I know you well enough, it's not gonna change you for the worst.
No, probably not.
It's not, dude. It's not. You're not. If you were gonna, if you were that person, we would know it right now, and we would not be on this live event right now together.
Right.
I
Uh,
promise you that.
if I had, if I got a case of $30 million just handed to me, I don't know how much of it I would really share and distribute among. Like, I'm not going to try and spread it out among all the people
Right,
I know.
right,
I'm
right.
going to take care of me and my family.
Mhm,
I
Right?
would invest so I could take care of my future family
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
and set them up. And any of my immediate family around me, of course, I would share with them. But it's not like I'm going to go take it and give it all to these different charities, and I'm going to, buy a home for every homeless person here
No,
in town.
No,
no.
no, no,
But but
I
but
mean,
I
I'm
would
not going to.
believe I would believe your investment would be an investment into something smart that
Sure.
would also generate money, but help the community and help people.
Right, I'm not just gonna get into day trading to see if I can
right,
make
Right.
billions now.
right.
I'm not greedy. So I'm not gonna be like, "Great, 30,000,000. How much more can I have
Well,
using this 30,000,000? How much
you
more can I
can't
get?"
you
Which
can't be
is,
greedy when
I
you
guess,
say
not
things
greedy, but
like
if you're money driven.
yeah, and you can't be greedy when you say things like, "I'm gonna make sure my family's taken care of, my friends, my other close family." Like,
Well, it kind of is. Not
already
my
you're
friends. I didn't say my friends.
well, close to. You're already dispersing the wealth, though, to make sure other people in
Yeah,
your family line are being taken care of. That is a sign of not being greedy right there, you know what I
sure.
mean?
Mhm.
A
Still
greedy
my
person
family and
would
no one else.
say
It's just my family.
right, but a greedy person would say, "This is mine, I'm gonna buy this and
Yeah.
that for me. This is going to go for me, me,
Sorry,
me,
mom.
me,
Sorry,
me."
dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that was 30 million. Now
Mhm.
let's go with 1 billion.
1,000,000,000, I would definitely have the extra money, and I would probably put it towards a lot of getting music education
There we go.
and awareness of music and the arts in schools locally. I would take care of my island, my town, my state. I would try and make it grow from here first and make it an example and try and focus on that kind of growth because I feel growing in the education would be the way to go instead of growing in stocks or supporting a new drug, you know, or something like that. It's or just buying up a bunch of homes and investing in real estate. That's just stuff, just ways to spend money to buy things. But if you're gonna have all that money and that's more than you can really.
And that's to
one
his
person
And
point.
can
that's to my
That's to
spend,
point.
his
you're not going
point.
to
When
get
you throw
business.
It's a
bigger,
reason why
yep,
people like us don't have
yep, yep, yep.
access to that type of power.
And when you
They do
throw,
have I mean, yeah, sure, I'll go buy a private jet or two. Why not?
right, 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 right. But when you have more zeros, you have more options. And when you have more options, you tend to care about the bigger
And
scheme.
and if you have $1 billion, you don't think the federal government's going to want a cut of that? I'd rather go put that into a house, into a jet. I'm going to go buy things and put it into something and invest in like the education and arts and stuff.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's why that's what they're doing. They're deciding where their money goes instead
Right.
of giving it all to because it would be large amounts, even the amounts they pay. If you saw what some of these top corporations do pay in taxes, it's a large amount, although they're getting away with a lot. But
Yeah, but how
that's
much
where you got to
money?
just get better regulations and
Yeah, but
better policies.
you have to get really good at regulations and tightening the budget. Because how much money have we spent on the Ukrainian war or overseas in some other country? And like, just think about that dollar amount.
Right.
You know,
Right. Team
just think
America.
about
Right.
that. And if you invested that in your own country,
This would be a whole different country
it'll be
if
a whole
we
different
invested
country.
in that in the worst, the worst poverty-stricken areas in every state. Like
Mhm.
it would be a different country. And
Yep.
for us to choose to put it towards warmongering, that's where my hope for humanity goes.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Without knowing all details, I do feel it's misplaced funds,
Right.
or misappropriated funds. It could go to better places,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't get that deep into that, follow that.
You see what
Right.
I'm saying? And
Right.
and that's the problem when you don't know where your money goes.
Right.
That's an issue, right? You should be able to tell me where my money is going.
Well,
Legitimately, honestly, tell me. And if I don't like that situation, there has to be some sort of like pool
what
of people that can just you know vote or something and
right.
say, well, I'm not allocating our funds there. That's not where our funds are supposed to go.
And a lot of us have children and we kind of want to know what their future is going to be like. Are we ever going to get it right? Because we as parents won't be around long enough to see the true ending. Well, most of us at least,
Right.
you know? So I mean, I don't really go into politics hard like that, but if you have love for your kids and love for other people and you have uh wants for this planet to heal and be better, how could you not think about what's going on, or how could you stay silent?
Then you got to really push on your local level and go to your state reps and senators and stuff because those are the ones we're ultimately choosing to speak for us and to make decisions for us. So if you don't go and get your local community together to push for that kind of stuff, to put people into office that support the community's actual ideas, we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And how many times have people said what you just said, and without the masses backing that person's actions, this
Yeah,
is
no
the
one wants
reason
to
why
take
we're here
action. They
today.
want to talk
Yep.
like
And,
Right.
and it all goes back to we know what's being pulled over us, but no one wants to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going and talking to my politicians. I'm not talking to my state reps about it. I'm inactive, but I accept I am, and
Yep.
with that, I have to accept what policies and regulations happen because I'm not
I
actively fighting it.
I
So,
I guess I'm just waiting for the flashpoint. I'm waiting for something so big
mhm.
to come down the pipe. You know what I mean? Where everyone is just like, "Oh no, this is not acceptable,"
Yeah.
and then the masses have to like just wake up in order for us to do that.
Well, you're gonna have to get a generation that wants to get off their asses.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, my daughter said something
Jeez,
interesting to
I mean,
me.
you would throw that in there,
Well,
wouldn't
now,
you?
now hold on, hold on. So Seraphine said something interesting, and I was kind of 50% in with her, like in full agreement, and 50% out in certain
Okay.
ways based on the context. But for Generation Z,
Mhm.
she's much on the path of, okay, you guys, like the parents and the parents before us, you kind of set us up for disaster. In one way, Gen Z, she said, we're not lazy. we just recognize now that the work system is flawed. We work 40 hours a week, most of us, some of us more.
Hmm.
We only get X amount of days with our family and kids, and it's just not vibing with them. And they want to change that. I don't think they're
They want a
looking
new
at it.
vibe. Or they just need to find a new way to work and create your
Okay,
income and like
exactly. I
whatever
don't
it
think
takes. If it means sitting on your ass and playing Roblox all day long, creating games, that whatever. But man, it's gonna be a tough if if the draft ever came around again.
but
Oh
see,
wow,
I don't
yeah.
think she meant that.
We got Call of Duty players. I guess they'll be all right.
Right.
You just run your drones.
And I don't think she was thinking about that. Like, I know how she thinks. She was
All right.
thinking more in the terms of,
I see. I see
we
what
should
she's saying.
spend
Yeah.
more time with our family, and those
Hmm.
that
Quality of life
are
is more
willing to,
important.
Yeah,
yes, and
yeah.
those that are willing to work, we should everybody should be in the field in which they love to work, not having to grind for something they have no passion for, they don't want to do, and everybody should be free to do as they want, spend their time doing that so
Hmm.
they feel a sense of freedom, not a force to hurry up, leave the house, get a job. If you had kids, tough luck. Like, I,
Then okay, then how do you buy a house? How do you get a car, transportation? How do you get
right, and
these
that's
things? How do we support the highway system and pay our police and
and
our
that's
cleaning
hard. But
workers and
yeah, there's no way around hard work.
right?
But I really think that
Because
if
someone has to
people
build all this stuff, right?
if people were doing what they love,
Mhm,
it would be Gen Z wouldn't be so angry. Like, there's Gen Z who just like to be engineers. They just like to put things together,
mhm,
or they just like to do X and O. But
right,
they're not in that situation where they can do that. Right now, they have to worry about now, the immediate now. And
mhm,
most of them get stuck in the now. Not all of them, but most of them get stuck in the now and that dream, and then that what they really wanted to do goes down the drain because they're worried about supporting the now. I'm not talking about the
sure,
lazy ones who are just doing video games and taking,
right,
doing whatever, which is nothing. But I
mhm,
am talking about the ones who think about this world being way better than how we set it up. Because ultimately, things are going to change. They're
sure,
gonna be we're gonna be old and they're gonna be in
Well,
charge.
if
Now,
right,
I don't know if it's gonna if it's gonna be a great thing, but I'm optimistic, like, these kids now are loving each other, loving whoever they want to love,
mhm,
doing whatever they really want to do. A lot of it is kind of lazy to me, and a lot of it isn't. Like, I think we're looking at something that's gonna have to change.
it change is definitely coming because whether they want it to or not, I see AI taking over more jobs than anything. Then I see like what everybody else may transpire is a universal income. Because if you have robots taking over all the jobs, you don't have to worry about working anymore.
well, someone's got to build the robots,
Somebody's got it, but how many can do that? You know what
and
I mean?
someone's got
Like,
to engineer the new robots,
how
and
many are going to do that though? We're talking about 300 something million United
And
or
then how long
Americans.
how long before AI starts to engineer itself?
Yeah, yeah,
sure, and then everyone just sits around and gets free stuff.
yeah. Well, that's
No,
what they're
no
posing.
income's generated,
That's
so
what they're posing, a universal income just to keep the masses afloat. Um, I think even like Joe Rogan covered that. He had some way out number, like give every American 250,000 a year, and it was like an astronomical number, like what that looked like. I want to say it was in the like $400 trillion. And we've like given away like I want to say 20 trillion alone in overseas
mm,
um, endeavors. But that's a crazy amount. But if it's going to go the way it's going, and AI is going to be doing all the like grocery shopping, or if it's going to be doing, all the car driving, the plane flying, you're only going to have the tradesmen that are really going to thrive, and everything
mhm,
else seems like if it's going to be AI driven, you are going to have to compensate the masses. Otherwise, the poverty level would be so high, you would never be able to contain it. If you're going to lose all those jobs, the poverty level will be so high,
Hmm.
the system would just not work.
Right.
That would lead to complete infrastructure collapse because then people would just say, "I'm done." That's when all the stealing and that's when all the
Yeah, because there's no more consumers.
yeah,
There's no more. Yeah.
that's where all
Right.
the mobs come out, and
Mhm.
that's when you find. So that in order to battle that, I think that's what they were getting to is you're gonna have a universal income.
Gotcha.
It's your only way out.
What if everything is based on what was that Black Mirror? Like, what if everything is based on likes? You walk
Unliked.
around with like some kind of button on your head,
Oh my god.
dislike or like, or it, it,
You get
it
a
could get,
rating.
Yeah.
yeah, a rating system.
Aren't they
Like,
doing that already? I thought it was China. Everyone has a rating,
Oh wow.
and based off because they're being watched by all the cameras all throughout cities and stuff, and their activities and how they behave and what they do and spending gives changes and affects their ratings, and you could check your ratings of other people,
Yeah.
and
yeah,
kind of crazy.
I don't know. That's just again, you just need that
I don't
outside
know if it's
influence to tell you
China
how you're
specifically,
doing.
but I thought
Yeah.
yeah.
that's what it was.
And what's funny is we could be in here making music more times than not, and that's what stops us from making music. Conversations like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
But um I tell you what though, now that we got this we got the gist of it down for this live on how it's going to go.
I think
I
this is gonna
can't
work.
wait until we start turning these cameras around. Well, your camera's already in a beautiful spot. When our cameras get turned around
Yeah.
and we start using this platform to like create music. So
Yeah.
outside of the conversation for the wrap up of this little conversation, at least the music is going to start flowing here. It's going to be an everyday thing, and I'm looking forward to personal growth, like with my instrument and seeing what else
Me
that I
too.
can come up with. And looking at your background, I'm really ready to hear like the 42 go to work and what we
Mhm.
can do with that together
Yeah.
and bring everyone along on the ride. So this whole music thing, it's about to take off. We are doing the 100. What are we calling this? The 100,
100 and 100.
100 and 100.
The final
And we're
countdown.
gonna just see how
Uh,
this train moves. I'm really excited to see what
Yeah.
sounds come up. I
Mm.
want to see frustration. I want to see like new things.
And it's
yeah.
not scripted, and
Yeah.
it's just built to have follies and success. It's like a true laboratory, you
Yeah.
know. Things can blow up at any point, but hey, something good may come from it. Shambles.
Yeah, I mean, so and we can also, I don't know, man. How do you guys feel like like Sunday evening vibe or like something we just do something and I really wish we had a camera facing out to the shore or something in Hawaii over there and we
I
would just
can. I'd have a camera set up for that.
yeah,
There's
we could
a
just play behind it.
there's one right on the window out there. You can
Right.
watch them build the house across the street right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just posing ideas right now,
Yeah.
like how we can like make this thing grow and make it interesting and come up with
Yeah.
these different sounds and incorporate the community and
Yeah.
this should
Well,
this
I got a few camera setups too, so I'll be able to switch between shots as we do the jams too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be
Yeah,
nice
and
if we could
also
get like focus cameras, focus on
right.
the different parts.
And hopefully the latency won't affect us too much and we can mesh the rhythm,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll only know after doing it.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Get
When you
the
see the
timing
viewer count just start dropping when we play, we know it's not in time.
right.
Think like, holy
I,
noise! Nope, I'm
yeah,
out.
I think at some point we're going to have to like stop and go. You know what? We need to see if the time is there because
Well, I think we should do a private stream that's recorded and just do a little jam and
Work it out. Yeah.
see what it sounds like in the final product. And just 10 minutes and goof around together and see what it sounds like to the audience.
Right.
right.
Right. Because I think right now everything looks stable, and
Mhm.
nothing's really failed on us yet. So
I haven't
but
seen
that's
any
the fun of
glitches or
R and
dropouts.
D. It's the total fun of R&D, and this
Yeah,
this would be a conversation that people would be left out on otherwise. You know.
right.
So
Yeah, wait till the viewers hear the conversations when we're creating.
Right.
You think this is something? Wait till we start really talking about music,
Mm-hmm.
using our own little vernaculars. If you did this on this measure, it would, and
Tighten the release. Tighten the
yeah, tighter
release.
release, attack, attack, attack.
Give me more attack.
Yeah, they're like, what the hell are these guys talking about?
Change that feedback to about 53%.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that. We could do that off camera, and then let's just see where it goes, how it goes, and we'll learn.
Yeah, I like that.
all right. Well, we'll pick this up later. We got another guy coming.
Yeah,
Stand
you
by
guys
for another live one.
Yeah,
He is a bourbon aficionado.
Fishinado. Is that like a fish
aficionado.
tornado?
Yeah, I think he said fishy.
Aficionado.
Mm.
Fishing vibrato.
Ay, ay, ay.
Fishing for a vibrato.
Fishing for a
That sounds like a
vibrato.
great album name.
Yeah, or some sort of song. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I kind of like where you're going with that.
And everything's just flat.
Yeah, it's just out of key, just flat, and just like okay.
I mean, it's in
no
the title.
modulate.
We're
The pitch
searching
is
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Eddie
duh.
Droney pitch.
Yeah.
Well, and hopefully this music, when we start getting it going, I'm looking forward to building new patches for the bass. I'm
Yeah.
really curious to see what else I can do as far as
For the effects patches and stuff.
yeah, and
Yeah.
finding like synth.
You got a beast over there.
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna deep dive in that and then try to come up with some different sounds. And it just may be like sustained notes here and there, just to complement what you guys are doing.
Get those otherworldly sounds, and every now and then leave a bass line to one of us.
right, just come out of it and just go. Yeah,
Right.
oh, well, then there you go. So you already want to take my job. AI already wants
I
to
do.
take my job.
I'm not AI though.
No, but you're bringing AI themes to take my job. Pretty soon, the
None of this stuff thinks by itself.
Yeah,
I promise you that.
It's all analog, I promise.
Pretty soon, the analog bass player is just gonna be a thing of the past.
No, I want your specialty. That way you can leave just a bass line. You're like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do a bass line for this one.
Yeah, now I want to go do something else.
However, being a direct in through the mixer and not having to worry about lugging around any more bass equipment,
Yeah,
it's
that's
so much friendlier on my back and biceps.
I bet.
Yeah. And it takes up no room at all. Like my little,
Yeah, the guitar
pedal.
case just slides in there and the pedal
Right.
case is done.
How much friendlier is that?
Yeah, the only thing that's really heavy is the QSE bass.
Yeah, the speakers.
The
Yeah.
speakers. Yeah.
You guys are
Alright.
big and strong. You can handle.
Yeah, but do I want to? That's the thing.
I still got a bad back.
See?
I need a
Lazy.
backiotomy.
A full-on backiotomy.
Full-on backiotomy.
Oh, my back. Need a backy out of me.
Yeah. Cut it
My
at
neck, my back.
C5 and freaking L6 or L5 and then just replace a whole nother back.
I'm a big fan of L7. They were a great band.
L7.
Yeah, dude.
Never heard of them. Okay, we're going to jump off. We got another live event coming up here in
Have fun with it.
30
Don't drink
minutes.
too much bourbon.
Yeah, bourbon. If you like bourbon and you want to know where it came from and what it's about, we got just the guy for you.
You
Gonna
gonna be
learn
drinking
some
it too
bourbon.
on the show?
I mean, I might have a
I
sip.
might have a sip.
You
might have a
need
sip.
to have at least a sip.
I know. We have so
If you
much
talk
of it.
bourbon and you do not have bourbon on the table and you're not
Oh,
sipping
there'll
bourbon,
be some bourbon on the table, sir.
Yeah.
I
Well, don't
will.
put it
I
out there
will
unless it's
get in
gonna be
there
a
and have
glass
a
drink.
few pours. But
don't make me come over there and drink your bourbon.
how ironic is it that we don't drink that much, but yet we have like what 500 freaking bottles of bourbon in the house?
That was like an impulse thing. I don't know what we were doing.
Well,
Yeah.
you're just
It
getting
was-
a nice collection. You don't have to
Yeah.
drink a lot.
It's
You
a-
just
it's a
now when you
beautiful
feel like it,
allocated
you got a
collection.
good.
Yeah, some of it was FOMO, and some of it was just I want to have a good allocated collection.
Why not?
Why not?
Anytime you have a guest, you better be serving bourbon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you only live once.
Yeah, you only live once,
No, you don't.
as far as we know.
as far as we know.
All right.
Physically, yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
As long as you don't believe in reincarnation.
Right. Which I do.
And you don't only live once.
Yeah. Damn it. Yeah, well. All right, Mr. Lamb, we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'll be watching the live stream, watching
all right.
about learning about bourbon.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And we'll connect real shortly here because
Yeah.
we got to get this music going. And I
What
really
do you
want
guys after that bourbon one? What are you doing? Is that Calling it a night.
We'll figure it. Like maybe if you're still around, we could figure it out. Maybe we just run the test on the music on the private, and if we think we got it, let's let a small portion go out live.
Just to see what it. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
If I look this way, is it this way? Yeah, it looks like I'm looking at you guys, right?
Yep.
So.
That's it.
We can't help it. Our monitor is right here, and there's nowhere to put it in front of the
Oh,
camera.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure that out too now,
Yeah.
because there is a little step, but he's got his pedals there, so we're gonna have to figure out.
No. You should keep
our-
the monitor there, so when I talk, it looks like you guys are looking at me when I'm talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been doing it the whole damn
Been-
show,
I
man.
know.
Because when you guys talk, I'm gonna be looking at the wall when you guys talk, just so it looks right.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
All right, we got our guest knocking at the door. He's like, "Is anyone home?" We should probably
Nope.
let him sit out there for a little bit, but that'll be just
Who is
totally rude. All right, we'll catch you, buddy.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Aloha. Aloha.